So something a bit different for me with the podcast. I'm at the Bristol Running Show, and what we're doing is just interviewing a few of the. What would you call yourself?
So we're like gym, so at the gym, so just based just outside of Bristol.
Yeah. So what are you guys doing here then?
I'm here going in for a fireside chat, talking about things running, and part of what I do, like strength and conditioning on the side of running, like supplement help with like injuries and things like that, and just promote, the gym side of it as well.
So what's the brand called at the gym?
At the gym.
So what's the goal of you being at the show then?
Just to put our name out there, really. Just supporting, running like it's really good, but to help with those injuries or niggles and stuff.
So what kind of injuries are you dealing with?
Mine's always been more tendon based, so posted like Achilles and stuff like that a little bit, but touch wood, I don't get too many.
Yeah. Well, I always have to, every podcast I do, I always end up talking about injuries. So the last couple of years I've been off and on with injuries. The one I'm dealing with now is that I've had it all year, which is runner's knee. When I've had it before, I managed to get rid of it within like a couple of months, but this has hung around. I don't want to make the podcast about me. But how would you approach runner's knee?
So for me, like to begin with this injury, I'll step back with running quite a bit, and then like cross training. So runner's knee, you're going to need to strengthen your glutes. So definitely like a lot more like glute core, and making sure, because most of it will come from through your hips. So if your hips are out, or then looking at your feet and your ankles. So just making sure actually you're moving in a good way, and actually just rebuilding that strength. So definitely vultures, you're going to be over and over again while you're running. So it is overuse injury, isn't it?
So what are you here to chat about on the fireside then?
Oh, not actually, I'm not sure. I've just given them my bio, like sort of my running history and stuff. So I think they're just going to fire some questions at me. They're mixed, I think, running and like gym based. So.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for coming on and just giving us however long that was. Appreciate you
coming
on and having a chat. Thank you.
That's okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, it's quite cool because it's nice to have the gym side. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So tell me who you are and why you're here at the show.
Okay. So I'm representing This Mum Runs, and we have come to spread the news about our brand. So we are a group of community of women around the world who offer free runs for other women. So you don't have to be a mum, even though we're called This Mum Runs, but you do need to be female or present as female, be over 18. And we have a nice space so that people can run with a group of people. We run at the speed of chat, there's no pressure. We loop so that nobody gets left behind. And we don't run by distance, we run by time. So we put on 30-minute, 45-minute or 60-minute runs. And it doesn't matter how fast you are or how slow you are. We all run together, and the faster ladies loop around to the back so we don't lose anyone. And yeah, we run at the pace of chat, and we have a great community, and people have made lifelong friends, and it's a great group. So we've just come to share the news.
Yeah, as soon as you said it, I was like, yes, I know who you are.
Yeah.
All over Instagram.
Yeah.
You're doing a really good thing with it. I think communities in running, the traditional like running club kind of scenario where people are worried about joining
Yeah.
running club because of stereotypical.
Yeah. Am I fast enough? Am I going to look right? Am I going to be? Yeah.
Have you found that you've had people into you purely because of that, are scared to join?
Yeah, exactly. And we're all very, very friendly, and we have a great Facebook community. So people tend to join the Facebook community first, and you almost get to know people. So there's some ladies here on the stand with me today, and I've never met them before, but I feel like I know them because you see what they post, and you communicate, you interact online, and you get to know people before you meet them in real life, which makes it a lot easier when you do actually meet in real life.
I know, I had a bit of a group of people about small groups and social travelers. A lot of them say the same thing, that too scared to join a running club, too scared to sort of go out on their own and try something.
Yeah.
And that really took a safety net to people feel loved, don't you?
Yeah, and especially with all of the recent news about women being attacked and killed when they're running, and it's now that the nights are dark, it's great to be able to get out and run in the dark with a group of ladies, and it makes you feel safe, and yeah, part of the community.
What do you aim to achieve by being here today with the stall then?
It's just letting people know about it, telling people about our app. So we have a This Mum Runs app, which kind of got a few different functions. So you can use the app to book onto a local run. So if you go on there, you can see that there's probably about 100 different locations that you can book into, and you can book your run there. But also we have a Run 30 course. So we do them in person. We just started up again after COVID. But there's also the ability to do your own Run 30 course in your own time. And I guess it's our kind of equivalent to a Couch to 5K, but again, rather than focusing on the distance, we're looking at the time. So, by the end of that course, you're able to run for 30 minutes. And again, there's a community behind that where you can get support and help and, meet people that are doing the same course as you, and you can chat and provide support for each other.
Yeah, you did an excellent job.
Thank you. Yeah, so we have a lot of merch as well with different slogans, and this is one of our key slogans: my time, my space, my pace. So it's all about getting a headspace, doing things in your own time, no pressure.
Right, we'll end on that. Thank you very much. Cheers for your time.
Cheers, bye.
We're live, so
okay.
Welcome to the Bristol Running Show.
Oh, lovely to be here.
Tell me who you are, firstly.
I'm Rick Wallace, and I own Up and Running on Northview, North Bristol.
So, you obviously guys have a big presence up and down the country. Whereabouts are you? How many shops have you got?
Yeah, there's 30 shops up and down the country. It originated in Yorkshire in Harrogate in 1992, and we were looking to open a store 15 years ago, and we saw it's a brilliant opportunity to be part of the franchise. And we've been there 15 years.
How has the industry changed in that time?
I think we've seen a lot more recreational runners. We've obviously all had a hard time a couple of years ago, but there's so many more people out there interested in fitness and just aware of how important being fit and active is. So I think it's not necessarily growing. We've stagnated perhaps a little bit, but I'm sure it will grow again.
So what's the aim of being at this show then?
It's really just to be part of the Bristol running community. It's such a strong community within Bristol, and it's a great opportunity for us to be in on the first one. And when we were contacted, thought ideal opportunity. Well, it is really, because we're just seeing something like this, then you just hope it's going to work, and you hope it's successful. I hope really we can see it continuing. So yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, so what have you brought with you to show the camera?
Well, I've got a shoe. We sell running shoes from road, cross country, fell, and track and field as well. And we just happen to have a shoe, one trail shoe.
Just before we started recording, you were just telling me about the origins of the brand.
So this one, probably most people won't know, it's Kahoo. It's a Finnish brand. They've been actually making shoes for over 100 years. So they've got a very good pedigree, but it's recently within the last year been brought into the UK from Fit Brands as a distributor. They're nice shoes. They've got a particular fit, which is really good. So they've taken 3 million or so foot scans across American stores. So the fit should be good, and it's a comfortable shoe.
Yeah.
And that one's a trail one, so
Yeah,
offers a
because
little bit.
when I'd seen the brand before a few years ago, I assumed that they only did road shoes. Did they start in road shoes and then go into trail shoes?
This is the first trail shoe. So this one, within the last 3 months, we've had this shoe, which for Bristol, look at trail, we don't tend to do out and out really grippy. So it's a lot of it's hybrid running. So you might run in, for example, around Ashton Court Estate here. So you've got pavements, tarmac roads, but then you also go into grass and also more technical, muddy parts. So something like this is ideal. You could just do all your running here. So
I'll have to try a pair
one
on
of the
that.
bands. Yeah, please do.
Okay, thanks for coming on.
Not a problem at
Appreciate
all.
that. Thank you.
Hope it goes well.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Tell me who you are.
Hello. Oh, what's your name?
I'm Sam.
Sam. Hi, Sam. My name's Kate Percy. I'm founder and CEO of Kate Percy's. So everything that we do at Kate Percy's is about the word Enerjoy. So it's helping deliver Enerjoy, which is great taste, good energy, vitality, and happiness. And we do that through lights, which are healthy. We've got 4 different flavors, really healthy, natural energy balls, which are really for any occasion that we need that good energy. So a lot of people use them for during runs, ultra runs, marathons, but people use them as a healthy snack. So, yeah.
And how did you get started doing that? Is this like sort of an offshoot of something else?
So it all started with a bit of a midlife crisis and a passion for food. My husband decided to run the New York Marathon, and he was really struggling for energy. But as a cook, I thought, well, maybe we're eating the wrong type of food. So that got me into nutrition, and I wrote my first book, Go Faster Food, which was published by Penguin in 2009. And that was all about how to fuel your endurance running ahead of the curve. Yes, yeah. It's all about just nourishing your running journey, I suppose, the power of food to nourish that running journey with stuff that tastes good.
Yeah. So is it aimed specific? It's not really aimed at specifically runners that you do today.
It's aimed, I suppose, our target market, absolute target market is active, everyday active people. So people who just need good energy for whether they're running or hiking or triathlon. Lots of cyclists use them, and a lot of families. So because they're such a natural product, a lot of kids can eat them because they're not going to do any. They've not got any nasties in them. Yeah. So, and the latest, the Active Family book, which is Go Faster Food for Your Active Family, that's basically kind of top tips on how to eat as a family and how to feed your kids who are like always hungry because they're out doing football, running, swimming, rugby, whatever. So yeah, that's where we're from.
What do you aim to achieve by being at the show?
Well, just awareness, I suppose, helping people with their running journey. I'm going to be giving a talk later on.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah. The talk is called "The Power of Food to Nourish Your Running Journey." Yeah. So people can come to my stand. We call it a stand, a table, for advice on what to eat. Come and taste the Go Bites. Lots of people have bought Go Bites, so that's always good. And just spreading the awareness, spreading the Enerjoy. Yeah. Thank you very much, Sam.
Okay, so tell me who you are firstly.
I'm Matt Dorber, and we're here with Queen Square Run Club.
What's the product are you sort of
So we're not trying to sell any products particularly. We're just trying to gain interest in our club. So we run on a Monday night, Wednesday night, Wednesday lunchtime, and Friday morning. And it's a free social club, and I think we're just trying to raise awareness and get people interested. Hopefully get some new members. We do a donut run on a Friday morning. So we start at Queen Square and we run 7:30 before people go to work. Run around the harbour side, and then we finish with coffee and donuts. So I think we quite like the before work, getting up and ready. Yeah, I think not a lot of other clubs do it. So.
It makes sense, doesn't it? So,
yeah.
A lot of people are busy in the evening with family and things like that.
I think once you've done it as well, you feel quite good for the rest of the day. Like you've got it out of the way, and then you can chill for the rest of the day. So,
So, what are you trying to do today by the end of the show?
So we've got some kit. I don't think we're expecting people to buy kit, but they're, it's here if people want to. So that's our club logo and our jumpers, the sweatshirts. But it's more really just to kind of let people know that we're here. I think there's quite a lot of run clubs in Bristol, so it's quite a kind of saturated market, I guess. But there's lots of runners.
Just driving through, I came from the motorway this morning, south.
Yeah.
And there's runners everywhere.
Yeah, so lots of runners. But I think the good thing about Bristol is there's no need to be exclusive to one club. So we're not saying, come and sign up and be a full-time member of our club. There's no sign-ups or registrations or anything like that. I think the beauty of Bristol is you could run with us on a Monday and then Left Under Giant on a Tuesday, and you go through all the week and you can run with a different club, which is what I like about Bristol running in general, to be honest.
What's your sort of background in running?
So I come from Somerset. I've done a few marathons. I just got through catch the 5K like everyone else, really. And yeah, I quite enjoy the kind of community, social aspect of running more than anything else. So I think I went through the period of chasing times like everyone else, but now I just do it for fun and different park runs, and yeah, the social aspect is more important to me than anything else.
That's something that seems to be cropping up a lot with the clubs that I've spoken to is the whole social side. Do you think the reason why there's so many sort of socially focused clubs is because the traditional stereotypical running club is dying off, or is it that when a market is sort of saturated, it's a way to be different? I think.
No, I think you're right. I think the traditional running club is kind of, it's not what it used to be. I think when I was a kid, when I started running, running clubs were always seen as quite professional. Running clubs are always seen as quite professional, serious things. Whereas now, since parkruns come in as well, I think people do parkrun, get the taste for running, and want to continue parkrun, but on a weekday basis as well. So I think running clubs like ours are almost a continuation of parkruns in a way. Do the 5K. There's no pressure to get any specific time. You don't have to be a certain speed, but there's also a pint or a donut or something at the end of it, and make some friends along the way.
That sounds interesting. Yeah, I think the whole social side of running is something that I'm interested in. I know that I've got a bit of a social running group where I'm from in the Midlands, in Derbyshire. It's amazing the amount of people that sort of turn up. We go trail running in the Peak District. It's quite a specific thing we do.
Yeah.
It's amazing the amount of people that sort of would be too scared to go and do that kind of thing on their own. Do you think people are attracted to social running because they feel like they wouldn't fit in a running club, traditional running club?
I think so. I think it's a shame, but I think running clubs, your proper official running clubs, can be quite intimidating these days. Which is, I think that is a shame, but I just think there's less pressure maybe with social stuff. There's less pressure to kind of, you don't have to come every week if you don't want to. You don't have to put yourself through intervals or anything like that. It's literally just put your trainers on and come for a jog. I think there's still a massive benefit of running clubs. I think there's some really good coaches at proper running clubs that don't get the kind of respect and attention that they deserve. I think Instagram and online coaches has really kind of taken that market away when there's, guys that coach kids up to English, England schools and national level and stuff, and they would probably charge 10% of what these guys are charging online. So in some ways, it's a shame that area isn't getting the kind of recognition and sort of notice they deserve. Yeah, I think there's room for both. I think there's a lot of guys who will come to our club, who will do things with us, and then realise, oh, actually, maybe I want to go for that sub-4 marathon or sub-3 marathon, and so we'll go to like a Bristol Trail Runners or a Southfield Runners or something, and do the intervals with them. So I think we can coexist. I think that's what I'm saying.
Okay. I appreciate you coming in and giving us a few minutes of your time and telling us what you want to do.
Anyways,
All the best for the show. I'll finish without saying hello to this little lady.
this is Alba.
Very good girl.
Hey,
Thanks for that.
that's all right. Dan, hey, you all right?
Okay, so firstly, who are you?
So my name's Jessie Sanzo.
Excellent. And you are here representing two different things.
Yes. So I myself and a friend set a running group up for women in Bristol about 12 years ago now. It's called Just Run, and what it's all about is it's about getting people back into being physical and doing physical activity to improve mental and physical health. And we, at the time, we both had young children, and so it was really convenient to just do it on an evening. And we have just always been really, really busy with people who just want to run with other people, and who want to get back into running or who want to start running. So we're not really competitive, we're more about kind of like grassroots, just kind of getting out to enjoy themselves.
Is it more of a social group?
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff around not mentoring, but like people come and they talk and they get stuff off their chest, and
So it's like running therapy.
yeah, kind of and kind of not. It's kind of convenient to just get out and chat with friends, but ultimately that does have
Like going for a coffee without coffee.
yeah, it's doing something together. And also for women, running in the winter is a safety thing, so we're busiest through the winter when people can't run at a convenient time for them. So it's just accessible to people to be able to get out and run, really.
So part of that, you were saying before we started recording that you set up your own brand to go with that.
Yeah, so I've always so we're a community group. We're not a money-making exercise in any way, shape, or form. But when obviously there are some costs because all our run leaders are trained, and that's quite expensive to put people through first aid training. And so we do sell a T-shirt when they join the club. They get a T-shirt. And I've always wanted to make sure that what we're selling is eco-friendly, because I feel passionate that we shouldn't just be kind of chucking stuff at people for the sake of it. And then during lockdown, we decided to get some T-shirts made because I couldn't affordably get them made. I couldn't affordably buy them sustainably. So we had some made, and we've just kind of made a mini brand, which is it's called Oslo. No, it's a bit covered at the moment. Maybe in a minute.
You didn't want to advertise it anyway, did you?
Well, it's a bit of a dilemma, isn't it? Because as an eco company, it's like when we get a big shipment of new stuff, there is an element of like we just have that made, and we do want to sell things, and we do. It's more about the statement of kind of telling people that if you need to buy new, then buy it from the right places, and make sure that they are recycled products, and you're only buying if you need to buy. So
yes, we are here selling today, but we're also here to give a message about what we should all be doing now.
Obviously, it's in the news about fast fashion and everything this weekend, or from now until Christmas, it's Black Friday all the deals. Do you think that it will reach a point where people realise that they shouldn't be buying so many clothes, especially in the, I suppose it's different, isn't it? The running industry is different to the fashion industry. It's kind of a crossover there. Do you think people will, same as people are campaigning for fast fashion to sort of slow down or stop? Do you feel that wave in running as well? That people need sort of waking up to the fact that they shouldn't be buying stuff every day?
I so hope so, but I just sometimes I look around and I just think people aren't hearing that this change needs to happen, which is really hard to see if you are someone who genuinely is trying. So I really, really hope that people do start to do that, and that's partly for us, like through the running club. We're able to be a bit of a voice to say, look, let's do this differently, everyone. And we all, at the running club, we also do clothes swap. So twice a year we do a clothes swap where we encourage people to bring stuff they don't wear anymore. Because the message just needs to start to happen. Like, it's out there, the message, but it's not really having an impact on the majority of people. So.
We've still got a running vest from 1998, which is still absolutely a work in order. That never went away. I still wear it. Unfortunately, the British summers are always really hot, so I don't always wear it all the time.
Yeah.
So it's lasted a long time. But it wasn't the cheap vest that it was. Do you think the answer is to make things sustainably and carry, pass on that cost and make people pay more for things, and then they'll appreciate them, make them last longer? I think that's the answer.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I think people need to think about it as an investment. I think that's really important, and people need to look after their things a bit better. And maybe if they do spend a bit more, they will look after them more. But I don't know. In this climate, it's really hard because people don't have the money to invest. So I think it's a real dilemma. But I just think looking after your things is key to to having it long, having longevity. Yeah. But also, I don't know if this is quite personal, but when I started running and competing, I was always really intimidated by what people had on and what they were wearing. And on the start line, I'd kind of look at people and I think, oh, they're faster than me. And it would really it really had an impact in terms of me thinking they were better somehow. Yeah. And in actual fact, I really with my running, I was elite and things like that. And I was really empowering to get to finish that run and just be it doesn't matter what you wear. It's about kind of you being you and doing the best you can. So yeah.
I appreciate you coming in and talking to us. What's your focus of being here at the show? What do you sort of aim to achieve?
So I was really happy when I saw that there was a running show in Bristol. I just think it's really great to bring everyone together because I think there are so many like-minded people in Bristol who want the same things. So for me, it's just about being part of that. And I feel quite privileged living in Bristol that we are part of that wider community. So I'm not, it'd be great if someone sees our community group and comes along, or someone buys a product and they hear about what we're doing, but ultimately it's about being part of the larger running community. So yeah.
Thank you for coming to the show.
That's all right.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
My name's Kerry Reese, and I run a company called Running, which has been going for about 10 years now. just about survived the pandemic
Yeah, how was
so
it?
far.
Yeah.
Same as a lot of people. Yeah, we took a hit. So did everybody. Lots of bonuses to come out of it as well, though. You have to sort of look again at what you do, and I think you have more appreciation as well for the people who follow you and come back as well. So in a way, it stopped us taking for granted what we do for a living.
So as far as your business, is it just talking about sustainability earlier? And I don't know if you want to talk about that again. So I was sort of talking about how sort of wrestled with the fact that I'm taking like an international flight and I'm supposed to be more concerned with that. But I quite like the way that you put it, the way that you now view it with people that you're involved with in other countries. What would you just sort of
Yeah, so I had the same sort of moral wrestle to do in a way, because I recently went to Andalusia with the idea of putting on a retreat out there next year. And I didn't really want to encourage people to catch flights and go aboard, which is what stopped me doing it for the last 5 years. But then I really thought about it. I met people in the community out there in Andalusia. This particular place, they rely on ecotourism to make a living. And it's an international mix of people who go out there. They do rely on it. It's very dry and arid where they are. And secondly, the whole Brexit thing sort of swung my view a little bit, not completely, but a little bit, tipped it a bit the other way, because we've become overnight this kind of sad little island that sits there without friends in the middle of nowhere. We need to travel, we need to get out, we need to meet people. But as with everything, we need to temper it. And let's call it conscious credits, right? Conscious credits. I think that, if you're traveling once a year to a place, I'm no longer with a flight. I mean, most of us haven't traveled abroad for several years because of COVID, etc. I don't have a problem with that myself anymore. It's only if you like flying here, there, and everywhere for business reasons. I mean, then it becomes a bit dodgy. But also, you can offset things. Now, I think this is the more dodgy end of the justification spectrum, because you can buy offsetting credits, and to what extent is that just making yourself feel good about things? Yeah. So there is that, definitely, but you can offset. If you want to do that, you can. There's websites where you can just put in your flight distance, and then it comes up with a sum, and then sum total you contribute towards offsetting your carbon credits. Now, I'll put that, if I was gonna number it 1 to 10, I'll put that right at the bottom, number 10. Yeah.
What do you think we should be doing then, as far as if we're trail runners, just runners in general? What do you think we can do to help that kind of sustainability side of running?
Well, personally, I think that organisers should have a sort of kite mark. And I know there are companies now who are marketing themselves as sustainable companies, which is well and good.
We could just say that, couldn't you? You could just say we're sustainable without really looking at it.
Yeah, so that's it. So it could just become another hashtag, generic thing to use as a selling point. But if it's your mission, if it's become part of your mission, and it's got a backbone to it, I think it becomes quickly obvious. There are certain things, I think, with events that I honestly think, if somebody could invent a biodegradable form of tape for marking events. I mean, this might exist already. That's not plastic chevron tape. They do very well for themselves, because that sort of stuff should be easy to come by. For some reason, it's not. I mean, the amount of plastic chevron tape you see everywhere at events. I don't use it. I don't use it anymore. I did in the early days. I no longer use it. It's horrible stuff, and it can be chewed by cattle as well. Yeah, and then there's things like, there's also human resources, like where do you get your marshals from? How far do they have to travel? Do you provide transport for them? Do you encourage them to lift share? And then there's the same for your participants as well. So and then there's, I suppose, there's the timing side of it as well. Is it, do you use solar powered timing? What are the prizes you use? Is it pointless bling, or is it something that can be reused? A book, books always going to be useful. You can pass on a book. Mugs, you can have to drink from mugs. Even running vests, running vests I don't have a problem with because you're going to wear them. If it's another generic t-shirt, I know this is a cliche now, everybody's talking about this, but this still remains true. Now, there are companies who are collecting that stuff in like Rerun, for example, and then patching it back together with something else, which is brilliant. And that's a truly sustainable business. I mean, we're on the spectrum. We're not there yet, but it's our mission, and it's part of where we're trying to be. We're not trying to be perfect. We're just trying to be better.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's impossible to be perfect. So you just got to so about your background then, leaving all the sustainability stuff to one side, how did you get into what you do now?
So I started running when I was about 9 years old. I used to run over the town moor, 2 slag heaps on the town moor as a 9-year-old with my dog. And I don't know why, but I used to enjoy it. And although I was into lots of different sports, I was good at rugby. I was sort of played for Newcastle Boys and Wallsend Boys as a football player. And I liked all sports. Running kind of stuck, it got under my skin. It probably was partly the fact that I lived in the northeast of England, which was like a sort of mecca for distance running at the time. Sort of mythology of running, sort of Alf Tucker type characters. It's sort of like when you're a 9-year-old, 10-year-old, it kind of gets under the skin a bit. And so we had people like Charlie Spedding, sort of Steve Cram, Mike McLeod, Brendan Foster, just to name a few. Kirsty Wade later on, and I think that sort of, for me, that was sort of romance to it, and I think it became part of my. Anyway, started running and was good at it. And I won the British Schools cross country a year young when I was about 13, and then bit by bit I realised actually that sort of the solitude of being the loneliness of a long distance runner, which my grandmother used to warn me about when I was a kid, became a little more sort of like my natural template. I realised then team sports, possibly, because with team sports I found you could have a really good game, but your team could get stuffed. Whereas with running, it's all about your effort. It's all on you. Yeah. But I'm a born again runner. I mean, it took 10 years out where I didn't run. I didn't run at all competitively. I went back to rugby, which is my second love, in my 30s, and then came back to it.
Was that a conscious decision, or just sort of the way that your life went?
It was a conscious decision. I quit running at a very young age. After I went to Loughborough University, and I decided after leaving Loughborough, because I was constantly injured at Loughborough and lived with a load of athletes and was constantly frustrated by that fact of being injured. And I thought, well, you know what, I'm at the best institution for being an athlete in the country, and if I'm not going to make it by the time I leave here, perhaps harshly, so I'm going to move on and do something else, and that's what I decided to do. So I became a journalist, which was what I wanted to do, and went back to playing rugby. And it was only really when I my mid-30s when I got a bad neck injury playing rugby, and then moved to Devon, where I had Dartmoor on my doorstep. And I think I was sort of, at the time, I was sort of treating running more as a sort of almost a form of therapy, because newly arrived in a new area, I was between things, quit my job as a journalist, wanted to do something new, and running became a way to clear my head and think clearly, and add some structure to the day as well. And I think that's from there I decided to set up a business.
At Dartmoor, so I many years, one of my alter egos, my lives was got into doing triathlon and doing Ironman, but along with that I started getting into road biking a lot. So the family moved down to Ashburton, so
Oh yeah, very close to where I live.
Lives there, and then he was like, right, I've got to come down every summer to do the Dartmoor Classic. So 6 miles loop around Dartmoor. So I couldn't tell you anywhere in Dartmoor. You put me on a bike in Dartmoor, I know where I was.
Okay.
But as far as like finding the way around, within that year.
Yeah.
I loved all the cowbells on the hills and everything.
Did you get the tax on the ground as well?
So, yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, that was a bit of content.
Yeah, it was a thing.
The locals doing that.
I heard about this, and there was I don't know if there still is a resistance by some locals on Dartmoor. I don't know why, towards people doing a fairly harmless pursuit en masse. So I think the question they asked is, what is this doing for the local economy? But then, well, do you also turn up with placards at the World Cup? Are you turning up at Wimbledon with a placard? But their point, so I'm being facetious, but their point being that if this doesn't benefit the local economy, it's not allowed to happen.
I think we definitely benefited a few of the local pubs when we finished the race and we'd go in there and drink for a few hours. So, passing trade for the
Exactly. Yeah, but I don't know if that there is still that resistance to it, but it's a popular event. I've certainly heard of it. Yeah.
So running then, when did it go from being a break from rugby and therapy and living in a new place? When did it then turn into your real passion again?
Well, I think it's always been a passion, and even when I was playing rugby, I would always go for. I'd go for long runs. So like I've lived abroad quite a lot. So I lived in Madrid while I was playing rugby for Complutense, and they played in the Spanish Premiership. We were the worst team in the Spanish Premiership. And then in Madrid, I played for a team called Vincennes, Bois de Vincennes, and I used to go running as part of my training, but I probably did a bit more. I interlaced it with sort of sprints and fartlek. I did a lot more of that sort of stuff. So I've never lost the passion for it. I think if I was to use one word that links it all, it's probably mud. Like it's no coincidence all the things I like doing involve getting muddy. I used to like football. I used to love rugby. I used to, cross country running, and now, fell running, trail running, whatever you want to call it, wild running. But so I've never lost the passion for that. I think there's something elemental in it. And in terms of going off running by yourself, there is something in that which offers you a sort of deep kind of sense of resilience and self-reliance, and which gives you confidence. And also, you can answer questions if you're a thinker, like I tend to be. You can go away with a question and come back with an answer quite often, which is why I think I've never been much of a club runner, because with the club running, I'm definitely not dissing club running because I have been a member of a club. I used to run for Pool Runners and Elsick Harriers. Is you can too easily get sucked into that racing every week, which is not my thing really. So yeah, to answer your question about the passion, I think I've always had it, but organising events, I got into that I think because I've also like watching people enjoy themselves, and I like watching people get something out of it that I recognise, and so I've become a sort of facilitator of that. In fact, quite often I saw when I put on an event, I quite often wish I was running it instead.
Well, that's the sign of a good event when it's you're organising it, but you are the good
Yeah, sometimes, not always. I could give you a few exceptions where I feel sorry for the participant. Think, geez, I wouldn't want to be running out there today or doing that today. Like, but it's harder for the marshals. Yeah.
Do you have trouble getting volunteers for races, for events and races?
I think everybody does. So for our Wild Night Run series, like for the Wild Night Run, we pay the expedition scouts. We put money into Force Cancer, and they provide us with a few marshals. And then we've got our regulars who turn out every time. We didn't used to pay; it used to be a voluntary thing. Now I find you need to offer that extra incentive. So we pay almost. Some of our marshals just take race credits. Our last event, it's probably the first time ever where we've had the ideal number of marshals. So I think that it's gotten easier just because we've got a bigger database of people to draw on. But it is a finite resource, and you can't always keep asking the same people time and time again. So I think I would try and reward marshals in other ways as well. Like we have great caterers, so that's another reason to to turn up. And I like to think that it's a bit of a community as well.
You put on some interesting races. What was the one about to do with the river darts?
The darts swim run marathon. Yeah, so that started in Blackpool Sands. So you basically swim the length of the River Dart, not the length, sorry, because that would be, you couldn't do that. But you swim from basically the mouth of the Dart, just beyond it, to upstream. But you're actually with the tide though. Sorry, up to Dartington, which is Totnes area, and the whole thing is exactly a marathon by the time you've run around Dartington Estate. So I think there was 4 swim sections and 4 run sections, possibly 5, and there was a half marathon as well you could do. Now we didn't put that on the last 2 years because we had some permission issues off one of the landowners, but I'm hoping to bring it back next year. So watch this space.
Yeah, sounds interesting.
Do you do a bit of that?
Well, I swam quite a bit when I was doing triathlon, and I got into open water swimming. My first experience with triathlon was the in North Wales.
Oh yeah.
All of my training I did in the pool. Didn't swim one length in open water, thinking, naively, get a wetsuit. It would just be like swimming. Obviously, I was like dead lost in all the swim. My small at moments, but if I survived, if I lived, I would do some proper swim training.
Yeah.
I did, and all it took was just to spend a few hours on YouTube looking at technique. Lots of time in the pool, and then I found a local open water swimming, so a local triathlon club. Got hold of just a fishing pond like every Wednesday. I used to go down every Wednesday. At first, I used to get travel sickness from swimming because the pond was just mud, basically. When you put your head in, and you're just swimming in all directions. And it used to make me travel sick because the disorientation. But eventually, I got used to it and started to actually enjoy it. Loved going every single Wednesday to go. Really enjoyed it. So kind of came on as a swimmer to the point where I was confident, quite happy swimming. And then ultras took over. I kind of realised I didn't have kids, realised I didn't have as much time to train. Decided I needed to pick something to concentrate on, and running was the most bang for your buck, basically. So since then, it really swam much rather than doing some bits of bodyboarding and swimming in the river like kids. But it's something that I'm injured at the minute, so I'm not running as much. So I'm thinking,
bring it back off the shelf.
Time to start swimming.
Yeah. Behavioural interrupts, I think they call it. Behaviour interrupts.
Yeah, I need to do something.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Gotta do something.
There's a good outdoor pool up near here, isn't there? Up, is it Clevedon Way? We've got a forest pool up there, and I know there's a good outdoor Lido near. Is it West? I want to say Westbury Park. Yeah, which I went to last summer, and that's brilliant.
I'm based up in Derby, so there is a few like open water swimming kind of clubs or triathlon clubs where you can go and do it. So
Derby. It's not exactly near the sea, is it?
The furthest you can get away from the sea in the whole country.
But also, it's not really the weather for swimming.
No, my wife, she's got really into water swimming.
I thought you were going to say bog snorkeling.
That does happen. And she's going regularly with a friend from one of the the school runs, and they get their suits on and they go swimming in the river Dog near us.
Ah, great.
They're
Okay.
complaining about how cold it's getting at the moment. So I really wanted to like go through winter and do it.
So there you go. So that's how you get your credits. You get your credits.
So go to swimming and I get to go with it to
Yeah.
Western States.
Mate, I've got to give my talk in a minute.
Yes,
So.
right, yeah, okay, yeah. I'll
Thanks.
let you go. Thanks,
Thanks, Sam.
for listening to us.
Yeah.
I'll send you some notifications
Yeah.
when it's going to be online.
And if you
I'll be following all your stuff.
if you fancy the when I do get it back up online again, you fancy the swim run.
Well, I know my mate who lives in Ashford, and I think
What's his
he's
name?
done it. Gideon Hodder.
I don't
He's a character. You never met him, you want to get.
Okay. Oh, that's
Unfortunately, he doesn't listen to any of my
No,
podcasts.
not yet.
Yeah.
Cheers, Sam.
Yeah, thank you very much. Cheers, thanks.
I want to look into this because
It's not expensive.
yeah.
Okay, so firstly then, tell me who you are and who you're representing today.
Hi, my name is Umberto, and I'm the founder of Absolute 360 Sportswear.
Oh, right, okay. So a second ago, you said that people always ask you where the accent is from. So where are you from originally?
I'm Italian.
You're Italian?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
my family told me recently, like this week, that I was racist because I used that expression with the. See that one? But I said it's become a thing now, like on social media. That if you're Italian,
Yeah.
But anyway, that's not why we're talking. We want to talk about so tell us about the business then.
Okay, we're a sportswear brand with a difference insofar as that all our technical products are made with a yarn that is got bioactive minerals embedded within the product, which means the products are able to interact with your body, bringing various benefits to your body.
So what are the benefits that you get?
Depending on obviously the products, you get different kind of benefits. Across the board, you get thermal regulation, so you don't overheat. So in the case of the socks, your feet don't get hot. Now, if we're talking about leggings or tops, because you're drawing more oxygenated blood to your tissues, you have got an energy increase, which means you're performing better. And if you're wearing them for recovery, because you got enhanced metabolism within your cells, you recover much more quickly. You don't suffer so much with soreness or DOMS. That's my hand gestures being Italian. See, I'm talking with my hands.
Perfect. It's all visual. It's great. So as far as like then for your socks, then put that into the. You can't see it.
I can hold it.
So explain some of the features of the.
Okay. Well, obviously the body is made with our proprietary infrared yarn. Then what differentiates our products from others is our anti-blister technology. We're using nanoglide and padded on the heel box and toe box, but also what we got on the bottom of our socks is this grip technology, which means the sock sticks to your foot, and again is to reduce any hot spots and frictions caused between your foot and the sock.
I've seen that before on a sock.
We got two other major players in the sportswear world using this kind of construction within the socks, but it's quite unique to us and these two major players. All of our products are made in Italy, not anywhere else like China or the Far East or Vietnam. It's 100% made in Italy, like myself.
So what's the goal with the company then? Where, how are you a global concern? Are you trying to be a global concern?
The aim of the company, I always start off as a consumer, that if I invest in a product or buy a product, I'm making an investment, especially if the product is on the higher end of the price tag. And also it goes with our sustainability philosophy insofar as that you buying a product which is long lasting. We're not a fast fashion brand, which means every year you want to change your product because you change the design, which means the products are not going into landfills. So the products for us is an investment that you're making, and because of the benefits that the products will give you by wearing the products, we hope that you're gonna get a better performance, better recovery, and it just encompasses basically what we believe in.
So I've spoken to a few people today that are talking about sustainability, and this seems to be the conclusion that people are coming to now because of this problem with fast fashion. That if you can get people to invest in the idea of investing their money in something that is quality, doing the gesture now, something that's high quality and will last for a long time. Do you think that's the answer to sustainability in this industry?
I believe so. And that's why since 2019, we've stopped doing Black Friday, because it's buying things because they're cheaper and not because you need them, where you end up wearing them. So I believe they helping with sustainability is buying what you need and making sure that the products do last. Yeah, it might go against a little bit the sales targets because you're not selling volumes, but we want to sell a product at premium quality, which will last. And just to give you an idea, when we tested our first iteration of socks, we were actually clogging the miles that we were doing with the socks, and we had one sock failing on the big toe at 652 miles. And I started to think, oh wow. When I put into relation with shoes, where expensive shoes, 130 pounds, they might last 400 miles. So a pair of socks, which is 14 pounds and will last 650 miles before it fails, I'm thinking that's pretty good going, because you're not going to be wearing the same sock every run, and so that sock will probably last you a couple of years. So for us, the not the answer as such, but helping towards sustainability is buying what you need and make sure that the products will last. And that's why our product lines are quite minimalistic. They haven't got major big brands or big designs, and it will last, and you not feel like you got to change it because you get tired or bored of the design, or you want the new design, or because marketing says this is the new design for this year.
Yeah. So you stick with a simple design, really good quality components that have benefits, priced to last and made to last. So do you feel like you're filling a bit of a niche in the market, or is this something? Is this kind of approach a growing approach in this industry?
I don't know if it's an approach that is shared in the industry, because even companies that are using recycled polyester, they're still pushing out new lines. And so is there sustainability policy, their ethics as true as they portray it to be? I'm not entirely sure. Like I was saying earlier, for us, is a product that looks good, but it doesn't change every year, and it's all about the performance and the comfort that you get from buying our products. So to answer your questions and probably repeating myself, I don't think it's an approach that is actually being used as such, because ultimately, as a company and a large company, to make profit, you got to make sales. So, I was reading an article about some of the new Adidas recycled shoes that apparently they don't last. So even though you are using recycled materials, they don't last. Unless you recycle the shoes, what happens to those shoes? They end up in a landfill. But for Adidas, it's money in their pockets because you keep buying the shoes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's big business. Yeah. So you are a bit of a unique business in this area, then, so yeah, I think there needs to be more of this. There needs to be more people that are thinking outside of the box as far as when it comes to.
From a sustainability, yes, definitely, especially in the sportswear industry, where there's a lot of brands emerging, a lot of competitions, stuff made in China, probably where work ethics are not as good as in Europe. So yeah, there's got to be a global way of thinking for us to make an impact.
Wish you all the best. What's the goal of you being here at the show today?
It's twofold insofar as that as a small brand, getting the brand out there, people to see the products, and a lot of the comments that we get is how do the products feel so good, so soft, because obviously we're online, and online you don't feel the quality. You look at an image, you like the product, you buy, and only afterwards you get to experience the quality of the products. So that is nice. And as a runner myself, it's nice to meet new runners, talk about running, and we're not too far away. We're based in Devon, and get to know people from the local-ish running community. And I've met people at events. Where was I? Wokingham Half Marathon, and I got to meet somebody that is then a customer, and I've met him today here.
It's a small world.
Yeah. So yeah, it's twofold. One, introducing the brand to new people that haven't met the brand, but also as a runner, meet other runners.
Yeah. Well, that's what it's all about, a sense of community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, thank you for coming to talk to us. Appreciate you giving us a
pleasure.
few minutes of your time, and I know you've left your stall unattended. So
That's all right. There's a massive queue of people now.
You better get going. Thank you
Thank you very much. It's been a
Cheers.
pleasure.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Okay, we're recording. So you are one of the last few at the show that I've not had a chance to talk to yet. So tell me who you are and why you're here.
So my name's Ash Tuck, and I'm the chairman of Bristol Trail Runners. So yeah, we're basically here to promote the club, get more people involved with running trails around Bristol, because we speak to a lot of people that want to be out in the great outdoors and don't know how to do it, really, the first steps. Yeah.
So are you like a structured traditional running club, or are you social club, or are you a combination of both?
Yeah, so we're quite unique in that, technically speaking, Bristol Trail Runners is a business. So it's set up as a private entity, but what it is it's a community focus still. So we charge £5 a month for membership, right? And that gives you access to 5 group runs a week. But our ultimate goal is to share local trails and footpaths with the wider community. People that we speak to say, oh yeah, I quite like a bit of trail running, but I don't know where to go, or I don't like running in the dark on my own. And we provide a group to go and do that. So there's a little bit of safety, sharing knowledge, and also it just makes a great annex to most people's training. Most people that are a member of our group are also members of some of the clubs you've seen today, like Great Western Runners, for example, or Britain Road Runners, or something like that, and they use us as an annex for their training. So it's great.
So, as far as organisation, then, how many people are involved with organising all this?
Yeah, so I'm kind of the manager, if you like. So I'll do all the scheduling and things, but we've got a team of 7 run leaders, including myself. So you'll go to one of those 5 runs a week. Most of the time I'll be leading the run, but a lot of the time we've got the likes of Tom or Hannah or Jason also leading the run. So yeah, it's a nice group of run leaders that are all qualified and affiliated, which is where the membership price goes to.
Yes, yeah.
So keeping the health and safety of the club in place, and also the operation of a website, because that's what we are effectively. We are a website. Once you're a member, you can see the schedule of runs. You say, yep, I'm going to go to that run, and then you just meet us at the meeting point at the time.
It's a simple concept, but yeah, it works sometimes.
We're built for flexibility, basically. So we don't have a fixed abode. There's no overheads. We should always be able to provide that service. That's the goal. Yeah.
It's really interesting because similar to you guys, but not similar at all. I'm from Derbyshire, and we've got Peak District up there, so
yeah,
it's failed a bit in recent months, but regularly organise just social runs in the Peak District, because like your kind of ethos, I was finding that there's people who want to travel and go out and an adventure, but are too scared to go try it for themselves. And for me, looking back on my sort of running history, I was always sort of a road runner, trail runner, but local trails. I would never go. I was always a bit scared to go into the middle of the Peak District, and ultimately the possibility of getting lost.
Yeah.
Until a friend of mine was like, "Oh, we'll go together," and we, explored. And years later, I find myself going and leading other people in there, because it can be a scary thing, can't it? Going from like running locally around where you live and know where you are, to then taking the step to go somewhere where you potentially could actually end up in some mischief.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we find with some of the conversations we have on our runs, right? So the Monday to Friday, all the runs are quite local to Bristol. Weekend, we go farther afield. So Brecon Beacons, Mendix, Peak District, stuff like that. And we find that you're talking to people on a 10K route on a Thursday and they're saying, or I'm not going to come to the Brecons, I'm not ready for that. And we say, no, genuinely, you're fit enough to do it. You're just scared of what might happen when actually it won't happen. You're in a group with a team of maybe 3 run leaders when we go out into the mountains, and it's all steady running, point to point, and so long as you've got the recommended kit that's on the list on the website, then you'll be absolutely fine, and we'll take you around and guide you around. And not only is that rewarding because you're getting people out doing different things, exploring, but it boosts their confidence to then go out and do similar things. And I think it's important when you go out to new places, like you just alluded to, there's more than one of you for a safety thing. Like, you know, there's mountain rescue, but you don't ever want to use mountain rescue. Yeah. So yeah, it's lovely to see people exploring and seeing the look on their faces. And it's great to be able to share experiences as well. And from our perspective, our run leaders love answering questions. We love being that sounding board to say, yeah, these types of shoes are good for this. This is a good pack to look at. If you're getting a waterproof, these are the minimum requirements. If you're going to go on a long run, you don't want a waterproof that isn't ultimately waterproof in 80-mile-an-hour winds, right? We've learned the hard way, so you don't have to.
So how many people do you regularly get going out on your
Yeah, so at the moment we tend to hit double figures, 10 to 12 on a run through the week, which is quite nice because it's easy to manage. It means we can spend some one-to-one time with people too, give a little bit of feedback and maybe some coaching advice. But as an entity, Bristol Trail Runners, we have around 200 members. So it's a lovely mix of people, lovely diverse membership base. And genuinely, every run you go to, there's a whole bunch of different people. So it's a really great way to kind of make those running connections across the city. It's brilliant. Yeah.
As far as like the business side of things, are you finding that it's opening doors to companies wanting to get involved with you and sponsor and things like that?
Yeah, we've had a lot of interest from, especially today actually, some of the guys that are providing therapy products and stuff, because we obviously have a like-minded market to promote to. But it's great to also try and build links with local businesses, just to say, look, we not only are a running community, but we should be a business community as well and help each other out. I mean, that's been proven since the pandemic, right? Like everybody help each other out. But it all intertwines really nicely. So we do have a couple of partnerships with some bigger companies. Precision Fuel and Hydration, for example, help us do a lot of our hydration planning for our faster athletes or our competitive athletes. But on the flip side, we're talking to guys like Preska here, who are sustainable clothing manufacturers, to help do our team kit, our club t-shirts and vests. So hopefully these will be replaced with something that's a lot more environmentally friendly and sustainable. And that's what we like to do as a club as well. So carpooling to runs, we use a communication channel called Slack that a lot of people use for business to just organize us trying to be greener, really, carpooling to events and doing things that are fairly local in the week for that reason. So we're not driving to the Mendix 4 times a week. So it's nice to see those other businesses, get that crossover. It's brilliant.
But it works both ways, doesn't it? Because you're providing advertising to them, getting people to try their kit, they've got a captive audience with the people that you provide, which is, a symbiotic relationship that works really well.
Absolutely. On a broader landscape, me personally, I have a business called Kinetic Sports, which operates Bristol Trail Runners. So Kinetic Sports is a coaching business and a sports therapy clinic. So again, for me, I've been talking to some of the guys in the other room, and now I'll be stocking their sustainable foam rollers and things. Again, so it's yet another platform, another dimension to how we'll intertwine as local businesses.
Do you think that's because trail running is... It's not that. It's, I suppose, trail running and ultra running are kind of like a niche within a niche.
Yeah.
So, to be a runner, you have to be a certain to be a trail running
It's another nuance, isn't it?
Yeah, so because it is still quite a small community, I suppose that's the benefit of it.
Yeah, and you know what? There's an irony within it. So it is a small community because not everybody trail runs. But the funny thing is what we're finding as a club is there are so many people out there that want to trail run and that can trail run, because you come into road running as a newbie and the first thought is, oh, I'll do couch to 5k. Well, actually, you don't even need to do that trail running because the trail itself provides walks and runs. So you don't even need a program. You just need to turn up to our beginner session on a Tuesday and chat and have a jog. And suddenly you've done 4 or 5k and you're like, oh, right, I'm a trail runner now, done. So yeah, there's an irony within that, I think. Yeah.
So what's your sort of goal of being at the show then? What do you aim to achieve by being here?
We want to share as many of the local trails that we've discovered with the local community. We want to get more people spending more time in the great outdoors and coming literally off the beaten track. So get off the roads, get off White Ladies Road and Park Street and come and run around the woods and enjoy the great outdoors, because it's amazing in Bristol being such a busy city. You can get to the middle of Lee Woods 7 o'clock in the evening and all you can hear is a couple of barn owls. It's unreal. And I think there are so many people that could benefit from that, from not just a fitness perspective, but a mental health perspective as well. And there is no pressure around it. We don't advertise runs at running at a certain pace or times or anything like that. It's just come and run and have a bimble. It's really cool and really relaxed. Yeah, but we just want to share that with as many people as we can.
Right. So if you're listening or watching and you're local to Bristol, then get yourself into Bristol team. Thank you very much. Cheers for the chat.
Pleasure.
Nice.
Okay, we're recording. So tell me who you both individually are and then the business.
I'm Linda Meek, and I'm a runner.
I'm Graham McKenna. I'm co-owner of Start Running, Stay Running.
Oh yeah, I do that too.
Yeah.
I've heard your name. Have you been interviewed on the
We did a fireside chat. Yeah, we did a fireside chat earlier.
I've seen your names.
Yeah.
So what is the business about?
Go on, Graham.
Okay, so we're a community interest company, or we are now. It was started as a business or a partnership back in lockdown by Linda and another. That kind of didn't work out, but Linda had done so much work. When she decided to fold the business, I said, no, we've done too much. Change it, let's go to a community interest company. Don't particularly want to be a charity because there's a lot of tape to jump through and everything else. And we can achieve exactly what we want to as a community interest company, which is to promote running for better mental health, and ideally, when we can eventually get into schools and teach kids about running, teach them how to run the correct way, so that they don't have any injuries going forwards, because we see a lot of people with bad running form that started from when they were a child because they were never taught to run correctly. And so if you can teach them when they're younger, because they are like a sponge, then that's perfect. But our mainstay really is just to support runners in the whole running concept. So really holistically, looking at mindset, what barriers do you have? Why have you got those barriers? Looking at your nutrition, strength training, stretching, resting, yeah, pretty much everything around running that will keep you running around. That's the whole point of the Start Running. We've got our 5k My Way plan, which will get you up to 5k, and then the Stay Running side. We've got numerous coaches in different areas. I'm an ultra coach. We've got nutritional coaches, mindset coaches to look after the whole running thing, really, whether you want to run further, faster, or just even if you just want to carry on with 5Ks, but want to be able to do it for as long as you can.
Yeah, keep doing it, keep enjoying it.
Yeah.
So I was just going back to the point of the kids in school. Do you buy into the whole barefoot running and kids running? Because obviously everyone's read that. fact that when you're kids you run naturally, you've got natural,
Yep.
you know, the way that you run is more of a natural thing, and we run all the time as kids, and then we get older and we choose on and we start to restrict the way that we do. Is that something that you look into as far as?
Not scientifically. I've barefoot run myself a number of times. I've dropped to zero drop trainers, although there's pros and cons when you look at yeah, and so changing your drop and your heel drop, for argument's sake, in your shoe might depend on whether you're just trying to support an injury. If I've got a bad calf, well then I'm not going to run in zero drop trainers. I'm going to have to raise the drop. Or if I've got bad hamstrings, we'll drop it down to zero drops, and it might help and cripple, even if you're not going to the extreme of zeros, just drop it a bit. So yeah, the mechanics are there. So I wouldn't say I was a fully fledged buy-in, this is what must happen, but certainly as adults, we're very sedentary. We shouldn't sit the way that we do. There's plenty of science that supports that we damage ourselves just by our everyday living, really. So yeah, if you can take some of that away, then it can only be a good thing, really.
Does that work as far as going into schools?
It doesn't that much as such. Ideally, it's just teaching kids a better running form.
And encourage them to do it in the first place.
Yeah,
which is half the problem.
Get unplugged.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like the very, if you look at the very simplistic sides, like I said in the fireside chat, your posture when you're running, keeping yourself upright, using your arms correctly.
Be a question mark, be an exclamation mark rather than a question mark.
Yes, exactly. And I've seen it. I'm an ultra runner. I've seen it in myself when I've looked at it. I've been thinking, because you're absolutely knackered. So then that's where the strength training and nutrition comes in, and then also the mindset again. Okay, because you've got to remember, I've got to be an exclamation mark. Or as Emmy says, use your headlights. Use your headlights.
Yeah.
So what's the goal of being here today then at the show for you guys?
Exposure for what we do. We've just sort of newly relaunched as a CIC back in the summer, so it's kind of just getting us back out there, meeting local runners, because even though we're an online community, we've got a member that's in our membership, in our VIP membership from New Zealand, that just blows our mind. Because we've started in Somerset, that's where you grow from where you are. So Somerset is where we're sort of speaking out from, and hopefully we'll grow from there. But yeah, just to get us out there and speak to people, tell them what we do, what we want to do. Yeah.
How difficult was it to sort of set up the CIC?
It's relatively straightforward, to be fair. Yeah, the hard work has been making sure that everything is correct, ready for us to relaunch. Because I didn't want to give a substandard product as such, because I think that would ruin the reputation and everything else. So I'd rather be patient, which we are doing. So our 5K plan isn't getting launched until January. We're taking sign-ups now, but we're not launching it until January because there's still work to do. Videos of stretches to do, or videos of different exercises to do, so make sure that everything is all there and correct and works. And we're not just looking at, because you can get the videos online without a drama, but they're always super fit athletes. And that's not what we're about. Running should be for everybody. It really should.
Our team are very, none of us look like athletes. Maybe Graham looks a bit like an athlete, but real. Which I put a post out yesterday. Did you see my ranty post? So there was, this is an example of social media though. There was an account on Instagram promoting running motivation, and every picture was, I think they were nearly all women in vest tops with six packs on a track. Sorry, but that's not running motivation to me. Running motivation is seeing someone go out and do their first mile or their first 5K and nailing it and feeling amazing about it and wanting to do it again. That's running motivation. Or somebody, getting over massive barriers to go out and run. That's motivation to me, and so that really got to me, and I did a little rant about it. It makes people feel, and that was why I started Start Running, Stay Running, when it was lockdown, and when so many people were starting to look to running as a means of exercise for the first time, and not to be a forum where it was, you know, Barry up the road who it does 26 miles as a warm-up and makes you feel a bit shitty about doing your 2-mile run that you've absolutely killed you, but because actually Barry up the road forgets that that's where he started 10 years ago. What we've got is a community that's so supportive. We've been going, you know, as a free Facebook community, we've been going a couple of years. There's never been, touch wood, never been one person that's peed someone else off and made them feel inferior. Everyone is so lovely and so supportive, and that's exactly what I wanted to create, somewhere that's comfortable, that you can put on that, you know, I did a mile today and I feel brilliant, and you know, you get 10 people going, that's bloody brilliant, well done. That's what sparks motivation and joy in me, is seeing people go out there and give it a go and want to keep doing it.
So do you organise meetups for everybody then? Or is it just
We've done a few local ones,
yeah,
because we have got a lot of local people, so we have tried to organise a few local
yeah,
ones, haven't we? But
yeah.
no, generally people will just chat
online. And when they do, so our virtual challenges are another way of motivating the community to do stuff. So when you've got a group of, you know, every season there's a group of us all running virtually somewhere. At the moment, there's a group of us running virtually through New York. Yeah, which is really cool. And we're going down the coast and back again. And people are sharing their runs, and because you can jump in the map, you can see where you are. So people are screenshotting that and putting that in the community. And we even had a bingo card, which so you could mark off like
find a yellow cap, find a bunch of flowers, there was all kinds of,
find a tree, find a fountain, and people like, I found a fountain, and which is really good. And
it's good. I do really like that, because I mean, I've been doing it for years, but I'd almost got to the point where I kind of turned my nose up at virtual. But then in lockdown, you know,
it's what people had.
That's all people had.
Yeah.
And then my wife, she did the concrete.
Yeah.
Started to do that, and she showed me. Actually, that's
if nothing else, it's another way of motivating someone. And you must know yourself, if you train for an ultra, it takes a lot of work and effort, and there's days when you just don't want to get out. And if that's the extra motivation that gives you, then jump on board, because it is there. Oh, I need to go do the miles. I don't want to, but I need to get this challenge done, or whatever.
You've got support of everybody else in the community just pulling you on.
And the other thing that we wanted to encourage, and we've had within our challenges, is you might get a mum sign up, and then we had one lady sign up and her 2 sons did it with her. So as a group, they did it. And then another mum did it with her sons, and they almost competed against each other as teams, because it's so easy to manually put, so it's linked to Strava or whichever gadget you've got on. You can also add in little Johnny's miles that he's walked to school, rather than you've all jumped in the car. You can top them up together as a team, race other teams, you know. That's what we want to encourage, is but encouraging the children to move. Oh yeah, that's healthy.
So what's the plans for the future for all?
We've jumped on board with a charity next year, haven't we? Marathon Kids UK, because we've got a big overlap, a massive overlap
of interest.
Interesting. We're not stepping on each other's toes. They want to get, they are in schools working with kids. We want to get into schools and work with kids. So it kind of works the same way. We've got a friend who's an ambassador for them, who we're supporting when she does a crazy adventure next year, running across Australia. So yeah, that's our big plan for next year, is to get that challenge up. So that's going to be another virtual challenge, but running for the whole year.
So we're looking to get schools involved,
and then get more schools involved, and then hopefully once the curriculum kind of catches up, and we can get some space or time or whatever is required with the schools, try and get some coaches into a school, whether it's once a month or once a term or whatever. Let's try and do that. Or working with schools with our virtual programs alongside the curriculum. For argument's sake, if they're doing ancient Egypt, well, I can make it on the map so they're running around Egypt. We were speaking to a teacher earlier they've just done around Greece. So they looked at the marathon and everything else. It's like, well, we could do that. And because of the way the app works, and we send out postcards or e-postcards, then it can give extra information or make sure that information, the important bits that they've been taught in school, is reiterated in a different way. Because that's a great way of learning. If you're told something from various sources,
and then you can see it on a map. Oh, right, and I'm there.
Don't they? Because you can hit all of the senses.
Yeah.
So the sight and so reading it, seeing, hearing.
It'll stick because everyone learns differently, so you need to knock through all of those different things.
Yeah, that's great.
So in a perfect world, that's where we'll be at next year. But we just have to wait and see because a lot of it is down to the schools. Schools
and
are
their
strapped
priorities,
for cash. Their priorities aren't fitness and things. They're catching up with everything.
Yeah.
But we've just got to keep plugging away, and all it will take is 1 or 2 schools, and then once other schools see that.
Yeah.
Because you did it last year, didn't you, with the teachers?
Yes.
Getting teachers to do.
That was with secondary schools.
Yeah.
And so, we did a program last year where we worked with a number of teachers in Somerset, secondary school teachers who were wanted to run 5K, never really done it or not quite got there, did our program, but took on a group of students along with them for the ride and go out running with them. Primarily they were working with students that were in their GCSE years, so it was kind of giving them that opportunity to get away from the classroom, get out and get some air, get some thinking time. That was the reasoning behind it. So that worked well. We did that as a pilot. But it's getting the buy-in from schools and it's their time poor, it's tricky.
You keep plugging away.
Yeah.
And we've got another programme coming next year that's looking only at men in Somerset. We've already had the funding for it. Is it in Somerset or is it just in?
No, it's Somerset.
It's Somerset.
Yeah.
We're looking at a lot more mental health and mental wellness and the different aspects around it, especially with men, because we're terrible. We really are. I'll put my hand up, I know. So it's still going to be around the 5K my way plan, so you're still going to get out running and things if that's what you want to do. But you're going to look at the different aspects of what running gives you, or just getting outside, what exercise gives you, and different ways of dealing with things, basically.
That was my route into running, like for mental health, many years ago. Just running to my own sanity.
Yeah.
It's now become something that, if I'm injured, like I'm now, it's not a great time for me.
No,
things to concentrate on.
I can understand that completely.
He's not great to be around either when he's injured.
I broke my leg last year, and I had 12 weeks ago. Against the wall. But it allowed, the way I tried to look at it, for the most part, was it allowed me to plan. It meant I had to put all my plans that I had this year on hold because I would not have been able to do them because my leg wouldn't have been strong enough. So they were on hold till next year, but it meant this year was free to do new plans. Okay, so we came up with new plans.
Helping this crazy lady here.
so it worked out. Things always work out a bit one way or the other. You just can't see that when you're in the woods at all. You can't see it yet.
I wish you all the best with all of your endeavours and keep an eye on your social media.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, give us a like.
Yes, I will. That's coming on.
No worries. Thanks very much. Cheers, pal.